Hey, welcome back, guys, to another episode here of East Coast Avengers and our segment, Character View. So, if you saw the first episode, we went through 5 characters briefly and just kind of went through a little bit of their history. Quick, easy, and it was very requested by some of our fans. So, we're glad to be jumping right into episode 2. And I think we have JT going first. And who's going to be your character for today?
Yes, sir. So I have Awesome Android. Now I want to paint you
What a
all.
loser.
What?
What?
Anyways, I want you to paint. I'm going to paint you all a picture. Just picture a blob as a head, and then he stands at 15 feet tall. He also weighs 1,421 pounds. He has no eyes or hair. Okay, y'all got that? Kind of
Blockhead. A blob head.
A couple people right now, but
yeah, it's a blob as a head. Now his first appearance was in the Fantastic Four, issue number 15, which came out in June of 1963.
Hey, look at that.
He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He also answers to Awesome Andy, which I'm not sure if I would ever call him Awesome Andy. Now his powers that he has, he has the ability to duplicate the powers that are being attacked towards him. So Human Torch sends out a flame towards him, and he can grab it and duplicate it and send it right back at him. So kind of a really unique set of skills that he has. Now, a little bit of his backstory: he was created by the evil Mad Thinker, who got the idea from research that Reed Richards actually created. So Reed Richards is kind of the, I guess, the dad of Awesome Android, if you think about it. Now, the Mad Thinker created Awesome Android to destroy the Fantastic Four, of course, because why not? And but as time went on, Awesome Andy kind of got a personality of his own. And he said, you know what? I don't want to be under the grasp of the thinker anymore. And now he works as in a legal company as a legal aid.
Interesting.
A 15-foot, 1,400-pound legal aid.
It's a pretty big person. Is
Good.
No eyes,
Good for
no
him.
hair.
Good for him. He changed his life around for the Lord. Good for him.
He's doing things for himself. He is an independent man.
That's a good thing.
Exactly. Like nothing from nobody.
I don't really know what to. Is he affiliated with like X-Men or the Avengers or?
He's had some. He's mainly with Fantastic Four, but he's had run-ins with like different random characters here and there.
Is he like a prominent character?
Not really. I mean, when I looked him up, he was just basically
Like a side?
yeah. I mean, again, he's a blob, really. Like the Mad Thinker really just created him to get back at Reed Richards, but it kind of backfired on him. Like I said, when he got he's an android, really. So, AIs don't really have personalities, but Awesome Android got one, and he became Awesome Andy. So,
And he's good, but has he ever been bad? Do you know? Just
well, he was bad, and then he was created bad, I guess technically,
right.
To destroy the Fantastic Four. And then once he got his personality, or his own personality,
I know who it was.
Yeah, he was like, you know what, I want to go the legal side of things. Which, hey, hats off to him again, because I don't want to step in the legal side of things.
Right.
So that is my character. So.
Interesting.
So who do we got next?
I'll go next. I have Blackagar Boltagon, who we all know as Black Bolt. That's his name, though. Yeah, it's his full name, Blackagar Boltagon. I was like, this is interesting. His current alias, what he goes by, is Black Bolt, which is what everybody pretty much knows him as. His species, he's an Inhuman. He's from Attilan. Atalan. Okay, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't. But it's interesting. I didn't really go into depth with that research for that planet or galaxy, whatever it is. But some of his abilities and powers include superhuman physical attributes. That's basically any Inhuman, any member of the Inhuman. He has flight, destructive hypersonic voice. That's basically the more prominent power he's known for is that, destructive hypersonic voice. He has particle manipulation and limited telepathy. So I found that pretty interesting. He's full of crazy powerful traits and abilities. But Black Bolt was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, just like majority of the characters of Marvel, in 1965. It's really similar to yours, JT, not with his attributes, but how he's created and what universe he's in. He first appeared in Fantastic Four number 45, which was published December 1965. So I thought that was pretty neat. It's pretty close to date, and it's also in the same universe. Stan Lee was the writer, Jack Kirby was the artist. Now, Black Bolt, I think, I might be getting this wrong, but I didn't really, some of it was confusing, but long story short, he accidentally killed his parents. He sent like the shockwave or something to the ship and accidentally killed his parents. I think it was a ship or plane, I don't remember, but his dad was the ruler of the Inhumans. So him accidentally doing that created him the ruler of the Inhumans, which are all like Medusa and all that stuff. His signature power is his voice, which we all know. Him speaking kind of like triggers like a massive, like, not really earthquake, but you could say like a disturbance, I guess, in the form of like a destructive shockwave, which I thought was pretty crazy. So he's always quiet. He caused a ton of damage. So he's practiced like, staying quiet, and if he like makes a small noise or like even utters in his sleep, that little thing could like level a whole city, let alone a country. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty crazy. He usually remains completely silent and speaks only through sign language, if at all.
What if he sneezes?
Wait, what?
What if he sneezes?
Oh shoot, I don't even want to know. They said like just like like imagine just like sleeping and it's like, like levels the country. You're like, what?
Like if someone scares him or something.
That would suck. Dude, what if you stubbed your toe in your Black Bolt? That's bad for the world right there.
You're gonna have any allergies, or the pollen will kill everyone.
Oh.
Literally everyone.
For real.
Oh, that would suck. But he fought alongside the Inhumans, obviously, and alongside Hulk, which Hulk actually defeated the Inhuman royal family, such as like Medusa, Gorgon, and stuff. So Hulk actually plays a part in Black Bolt's universe, which is pretty neat. I'm assuming Black Bolt came to Earth. If not, then Hulk might have gone somewhere else. Had like I don't know. But yeah, they actually had a live action debut for Black Bolt. As we all know, that
We don't talk about that. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. We don't talk about that. Next. We don't talk about that. Next.
Any questions?
Well, it's not really a question, but it's more of a comment. The only other I do know about Black Bolt. The only other thing I compare him to is, or I can compare him to is I know I've heard like when he whispers, like, even like a whisper will like cause the ground to rumble, like almost like an earthquake.
Yeah, it will.
Which is like insane. Like I think he might be the most powerful screamer, I guess, out of all. Because there's a bunch of people with that kind of power.
He is, yeah.
Banshee.
Yeah. But yeah, he's definitely he's unbelievably powerful.
Hypersonic voice, man, that's something else. That's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I don't think I would want that power. Like,
I don't think I would either. I mean,
nobody would.
Like you can't talk. Like that's just.
Imagine playing Call of Duty and this kid's just like
Stop
talking
it.
the most trash, and you just want to rage, but you can't say anything.
Yeah, well, you
like,
can't even
you little, and then the mic goes quiet on his side.
No, just imagine me with Black Bolt's powers, and I started laughing. Just imagine what I could do.
Episode, Dom, we'd be dead. That happens every episode.
I mean, even if a baby that can't help itself from crying at the womb.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta.
It's really nasty.
Was he born quiet?
Yeah, like was he born quiet or was he born like already just wrecking?
He came out.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah. So is that everything for your character, Darren?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into mine, which is Avalanche. Its creators were Chris Claremont and John Byrne, and I believe Darren.
Chris Claremont.
Chris Claremont. And you have a
legendary.
Yeah. And do you have a signature?
Yeah, on a Dark Phoenix pop and something else.
Me, Darren, and Dom all have a picture and a
little signed picture.
Yeah.
It's signed by.
And you guys got it at Memphis Comic Expo?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on going this year. I mean, hopefully if they're still open. But Chris Claremont and John Byrne are the creators, and his first appearance was in X-Men 141, which was in January 1981. He's a mutant, and he can generate seismic waves from his hands strong enough to create earthquakes. So instead of screaming, all he has to do is that, or from the other end of the body if he makes that and claps.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so he can generate seismic waves from his hands starting up to create earthquakes. And he's been part of the Brotherhood of Mutants, the second incarnation. He was recruited by Mystique, and pretty much the Brotherhood of Mutants is like, it's like the branch, the bad guys, I guess, the counterparts of the X-Men. And their whole mission, of course, is to make the mutants not just compatible with humans, but over the humans. But anyways, he was recruited by them, by Mystique, and then he was also part of X-Corps, and he was recruited to X-Corps by Banshee, the other power voice. I can't remember the name of those powers, but he was recruited by Banshee into the X-Corps, and their whole mission was to police the mutant community. And some villains were also recruited to X-Corps, which got the attention of the X-Men, because I mean, there were some people on that list of X-Corps that already had problems with the X-Men. So, of course, it got their attention and ended up becoming a big scuffle. There was a rampage through Paris between the two groups. And Avalanche used his powers to destroy the Eiffel Tower at one point. And before any further destruction could emulate, X-Men defeated the X-Corps. And
they put back the Eiffel Tower. Did Magneto do that or something?
Yeah, they must have, because apparently Avalanche just went like that. I'm sorry, like that, and leveled the entire Eiffel Tower, which is pretty ridiculous to think of. But yeah, he ended up dying. And his way of death is actually really interesting. It's kind of sad too. He was captured by Red Skull, and he was he was lobotomized. So pretty much they took out the front part of his cortex and they replaced it with like this mind thing. They basically mind controlled him, but not by the mind, but by like replacing his frontal. Yeah. So they turned him into basically a murderous puppet, and he went out and he went berserk on New York by creating a terrorist attack to renew the populace's fear and hatred of mutants. So that was the whole point of him being lobotomized, was to get the people to hate mutants again. And in a fight with Captain America, pretty much Avalanche was made to jump off a cliff, it says, but like what cliff is in New York City? So I would assume it means out of a building. So he was forced to jump out of a building, and he unwillingly committed suicide. So that was the end of Avalanche.
That's kind of dark.
Wow.
JT. Oh no, he passed away.
Oh.
Cool. So that was a tragic story of Avalanche. So you guys have any questions on it or no?
Quick question. Oh,
go ahead.
Okay, this is probably, I don't know, you did a lot of research on this. Would you go with the Brotherhood or the X-Corps?
I would go with the Brotherhood of Mutants. I think they have a larger following. And the Brotherhood of Mutants, their leader is obviously Magneto. And X-Corps, I don't know that they had as large of a group compared to the Brotherhood of Mutants. And I don't know what's your question? Which one's more powerful, or which one's more?
Well, which one would you choose?
Yeah, which one?
I would say Brotherhood of Mutants. They just have a larger rogues gallery compared to the X-Corps.
Right.
And they have several incarnations. So he joined the second incarnation. So it's like a cult following. There's several versions of them. Mm-hmm. So I would choose the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Interesting.
All right, so that's mine, and I think next we're gonna jump into Dom's character. Dom, what you got for us?
So I have the great Better Ray Bill.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a fun
So, so he was created by Walter Simonson, and he first appeared in Thor issue number 337 in November of 1983. And his powers are similar to Thor, and I will get into that a little bit later. He is of Corbinite heritage from planet Corbin, and his affiliations is with the formerly with the Annihilators, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Omega Flight, and he's a constant ally of the Asgardians. So with his origin story, with his planet of Corbin, they were attacked by fire demons sent by Surtur, and then the planet decided to choose their greatest warrior and use their advanced science technology to turn him into Better Ray Bill. And so Better Ray Bill would use his powers to defend his world, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. But he was able to save a group of people and place them on his ship. And the people in Better Ray Bill were able to escape, planet Corbin before it was all destroyed. And so, just as the world was being destroyed, the ship reached the Milky Way, and it was spotted by Nick Fury and Shield. And Nick Fury decided to send Thor out to investigate it, in which the ship thought Thor was an actual enemy. So Thor and Better Ray Bill ended up fighting, and Better Ray Bill ended up winning that battle the because of Thor's hammer was separated from him during the battle, and Better Ray Bill was just able to knock out his alter ego Donald Blake in just one punch. And out of his curiosity, Better Ray Bill decided to lift Mjolnir, and he was deemed worthy, and so that actually caught Odin's attention. And he decided to bring those two people back to Asgard and let them battle to the death to see, who was deemed worthier. And so Odin decided to, have the battle in Skardium, if I'm saying that correctly, which he purposely gave Better Ray Bill an advantage because of his Corbinite heritage. And so with that battle, Better Ray Bill was able to defeat Thor. And Odin wanted this to happen because he wanted to see how worthy Better Ray Bill was, and he wanted to teach Thor a lesson. So after that battle, Better Ray Bill decided to give, Mjolnir back to Thor, while Odin decided to give him his own hammer, which we all know as Stormbreaker. Mm-hmm. And so from then on, it was just history. Better Ray Bill had countless solo adventures even today, and that has also teamed up with many other superhero teams, and him and Thor and all of Asgard have battled together numerous of times. So that's my character review on Better Ray Bill.
Interesting. I noticed that you said he's like worked alongside / fought alongside Omega Flight, which I was thinking is like the counterpart to Alpha Flight, which is your character that you did last week. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that's pretty neat. I did notice that. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting character.
I was wondering, Dom, Beta Ray Bill is a huge character. Do you think any of his stories might be transferred to MCU, or do you think they're just gonna do a brand new story like?
You know what? I was thinking that he was teased in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And I was thinking with that he will probably have like the same type of storyline they had in the comics, saying like his planet got destroyed and he, along with some other people, left his planet while their planet was getting destroyed, and they all ended up on the Grandmaster's planet. So that's how I think how he ended up there. And yeah, I see it, JT. And Grandmaster decided to let him be a warrior, so that's how he has his on statue or his head on his little Mount Rushmore or whatever. So I think that's how I see how his origin story would be in the MCU. But Kevin Feige did say there was an early draft saying, he was actually going to be in the film, but the role was too small for him, and so they're going to wait to put him in another film so they can do him justice.
Yeah, they already teased him in one shot of Ragnarok. There's a building from afar, and you can see his engraving. And then, of course, Stormbreaker is his weapon. So there were some references. But
also, fun fact, I watched a video. Someone out there in the world had a curiosity of examining all of the bones that was in Guardians 2. If y'all remember, Nebula and Gamora find Ego's kind of kids that he killed or whatever. And one of those bones is a Corbinite bone. So we know that Corbinite has been the race, at least, is in the MCU. We just haven't. And again, it's one of those characters like Adam Warlock where we know he's in here. We just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to our last character presented by Christian. Christian, who do you got for us tonight?
Okay, so I'll be honest with you. This is a guy named Big Man. Now, when I first heard him, I thought he was just going to be like a generic big dude like Hulk or, just like Juggernaut, just like a big dude that I don't have heard of. Actually, he's completely different, and I had fun researching this character. So Big Man, his alter ego is Frederick Foswell. He is a villain, a crime boss in the Spider-Man universe. He worked for the Daily Bugle, and while he was working there, alongside with Peter Parker and J. Jonah Jameson, he led a double life using the alter ego Big Man. Now, Frederick is frail in nature, so to make himself seem like a crime boss when he's Big Man, he wears like a mask, an oversized coat, some big boots to make himself bigger than what he actually is. And they just call him, hey, it's Big Man. It's, Boss Man, Big Man, So, long story short, he led this group of thugs called the Enforcers. One day, Spider-Man confronted them and stopped them in their nefarious acts or whatever. And shortly after being questioned by the police, they revealed the identity of Big Man as Frederick Foswell, and he got imprisoned. Shortly after he got out, J. Jonah Jameson hired him back because he was not a bad reporter. And because of that, even though he is a convicted felon, that act of trust from J. Jonah Jameson got Foswell's gratitude. Like, he really did like J. Jonah Jameson for trusting him because J. Jonah Jameson, I believe he's that kind of guy that doesn't care about what your past is as long as you get the job done. And he was a really good reporter alongside with Peter Parker. So he hired him back. So later on, he decided to go good. He makes an alter ego, another one called Patch, where he would wear an eye patch. And he would kind of work as like a thug in the streets, but secretly he was tipping off the police and at the same time getting scoops for the Daily Bugle. It's very similar how Peter Parker always has pictures of Spider-Man,
right?
Because they're the same person. Obviously, Frederick Foswell doesn't have any superpowers, but he makes do with what he's got. One day, following a crime war, Kingpin takes over the underworld. We all know who Kingpin is. And Foswell started to get a bigger scoop on Kingpin, so he decided to bring back Big Man, which was more well known than Patch. But Kingpin outwitted him, and he ended up being one of Kingpin's lieutenants. So he couldn't be up there with the boss. So he ended up being one of his lieutenants. And one day, Spider-Man was trying to take down Kingpin, and because Kingpin had J. Jonah Jameson as a hostage one day, Kingpin tries to drown both of them, and Foswell sees that, and he sees that J. Jonah Jameson is in trouble, and he knows that he likes him, so he tries to save him. While in the middle of him that Kingpin drowns them, he leaves them underwater, but Spider-Man creates a bubble with his web so they live. And in the middle of Kingpin trying to chase after Foswell, Spider-Man comes back and then they fight. Meanwhile, J. Jonah Jameson escapes to the basement and Foswell follows him, just try to keep him safe. And these group of thugs surround him and they try to gun down J. Jonah Jameson, and he jumps in front of one of the bullets and ends up saving J. Jonah Jameson's life. But he sacrificed his own life to make that happen. because of that, even though he was at first a villain that turned good, J. Jonah Jameson immortalized him at the Daily Bugle with a statue, and that ended up being the end of Frederick Foswell as Big Man. It was a very short story because he debuted in Spider-Man number 10 in March of 1964, and he was only really big in the 60s, or sort of big. He hasn't really made an appearance since then. There have been other people involving his daughter and his daughter's fiance, but that's not really about Frederick Foswell. I really like researching him because I think that's why I like people like Batman and Spider-Man more, because they're like real type of heroes, or more realistic than like the cosmic wielding power of, you know, Annihilus that I reviewed last week.
Right.
Even though they're not realistic, they are more realistic than an Iron Man or a Superman. And just learning about this guy who kind of turned good in the world of Spider-Man, that was really, really cool story in my opinion. So
Yeah, definitely a pretty interesting guy. Was he
Oh.
really big though? How
no,
big?
he was not big. He was like very skinny, probably not that tall, but he came off as big, and he was a smart dude. He had a pretty good run as a crime boss until Spider-Man basically stopped him. So
Yeah, I was initially going to ask if he had any correlation with Kingpin, because that's obviously one of the biggest underworld crime bosses.
just as like a timeline reference, he was like running the show of New York before Kingpin came in, before Green Goblin, before Crime Master, before any of those like big dudes.
So he was it. He was
it before like Kingpin came in, and then
They were
Kingpin came
created
in.
because Big Man was created first.
Yeah,
What I'm hearing. Okay.
He was the blueprint.
pretty much. Yeah.
So his only like quote unquote powers was that he was just it. Like he was the crime boss.
Pretty much, yeah. He ran a pretty tight operation. I mean, if Spider-Man wasn't there, he probably would have ran New York for a very long time. But you know, Spider-Man, he always stops the bad guys. So eventually, he got caught. But then he turned good, and Jameson saw that, and he saved his life, and he became a hero in the Daily Bugle, while Spider-Man is still a menace to New York. You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for checking out this episode, episode 2 segment of our character review. Be sure to tune in next week. I believe we will have our 3rd episode for character review, where we will bring you new characters and hopefully better stories. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and until next week, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, nerds? Thank you for checking out today's video. Be sure to hit subscribe on our channel so you can keep up with all of our latest content, all of our latest videos for Star Wars, Marvel, DC. We got it. Thank you.